Hello and welcome to IPSR Cast. Hi, this is Archana here. Today we are going to discuss about one of the emerging roles in IT industry which is in crazy demand right now and which also pays an amazing salary. Yes, we are talking about DevOps professionals. What is DevOps? The career track of a DevOps professional, the emerging trends and career opportunities in DevOps. I'm sure you have all of these questions and more when you click on this video. And today we have Dr. Mendus Jacob. He is the CEO of IPSR Solutions Limited and Valiant Technologies UK and USA. Welcome, sir, to the discussion.
Thank you.
Then we have Mr. St. John Proudence, who is a RedHat certified architect and RedHat certified instructor. He is the head of Linux and Cloud Division at IPSR Solutions Limited. Welcome, St, to the discussion.
Thank you, Archana.
Then we have Mrs. Anusha, who is a placement division coordinator at IPSR Solutions Limited. Welcome, Anusha, to the discussion.
Thank you, Archana.
And with the help of these three experts in today's video, we are going to understand what is DevOps and why it is emerging right now, the career track of a DevOps professional, the career opportunities and salary details of a DevOps professional. Okay, so let's first ask to Mr. Sen. Can you explain what DevOps is in a layman's perspective?
Okay. So DevOps is actually a process, or we can call it as a methodology, which combines software development and IT operations. Or I can say it's an intersection of development and operations. So we know that the main goal of application development is to deliver application to the end user. So the name itself, DevOps, it's a collaboration of DevOps and operations, right? So before this method, they were working separately. That means developers, they are just aiming for complete the coding, and operations, they are only worried about deploying and operating their applications and running in the custom. But there is a huge gap in this communication between development team and operation team. So the development team will develop application and operation team will deploy it, just that. So they just focus on their own business, but we need a collaborative environment. So in the DevOps process, the development and IT operations work together. So the process is they will plan, then code it, then build, test. It's normally done by development, then releasing, deployment and operation of application, and also a continuous monitoring that is done by operating team or ops team. So in DevOps process, they will combine together, they will work collaboratively. So it is a continuous process. If you can see the DevOps simple, it's an infinite loop. It's a continuous process. So this DevOps practice make this process faster with high quality. There are some technologies used to implement DevOps principles like source code management, that Git, then CI/CD tools, containerization and container orchestration like Docker, Podman, Kubernetes, then continuous monitoring tools like Nagios, then package management, then infrastructure as a code like Terraform, and cloud technology like AWS, GCP, Azure, etc. Yeah. So this is what DevOps means. So in short, I can say it's a intersection of development and operations, and they are working together for a single aim, that is delivery of application to the end user.
So can you explain why DevOps is emerging right now?
Okay, it's all about the benefits of DevOps it's offering. So it maximizes efficiency with automation, and also it optimizes the entire business. So we can say that the biggest advantage of DevOps is the insight it provides. It forces the organization to optimize for the whole system, not just for the IT, and also it improves the business as a whole. And it improves speed and the stability of software development and deployment also. So in all this sense, we can say that DevOps is emerging, and businesses across the globe are fast switching over to DevOps related technologies and practices for continuous integration and the continuous delivery of software-based products and services. So the companies are switching into DevOps methods. They are also looking for highly skilled DevOps engineers.
So according to you, Mendus, why do you think DevOps is emerging right now?
Everybody knows, the world is going through an economic crisis because of the pandemic and the Ukraine war. The fuel prices are going up and the inflation is high. Especially in the developing countries, the inflation rate is at an all-time high. So that every country or every company, they are trying to reduce the operation cost. So when the companies are going for cost-cutting measures, definitely they will identify those technologies which can reduce their cost. And open source is one of the technologies where companies will adopt during the recession time or when there is an economic crisis. So again, DevOps, which consists of a lot of technologies like open source is there, cloud is there, so many other open source tools are there. So because of this open source technology, and again, cloud, when we think of cloud, many companies, they may maintain their data center. Most of the companies, mainly the MNCs, they have their own private data centers. But when the cost cutting issue is there, they will try to have public clouds instead of their private data centers. So there will be huge demand for public clouds, and most of these public clouds, they are running on open source Linux. So this is one of the reasons why this technology is emerging now.
Okay, so how can a student explore this opportunity? What will be the training track?
Yes, sir. We follow a track where we will start with Linux, because for a cloud and DevOps, they require a platform to start with. So we will train them in the enterprise Linux, so that after the training, they can go for RHCSS certification also. So there is a dual advantage. And the second step, we will train them with Ansible automation. And along with that training, we will cover the syllabus of RHCE. That means after that second step, they can go for RedHat certification again, RHCE certification. So mostly, most of the students after this second level, they get placed. Some of them are getting placed as a cloud engineer, or some of them junior DevOps engineer, or even DevOps engineer itself. So that the company will provide them additional training so that they will be included in their cloud division or a DevOps division. And the third step is we will provide them training in the cloud technologies, like public clouds, the most demanded cloud technologies like AWS or Microsoft Azure. The student can opt for one of these two cloud trainings. And after the cloud training, they become a cloud engineer. Okay. And some of the ambitious students, if they want to pursue further, so after cloud training, they can be trained in containerize or Kubernetes. We used to train them in the RedHat OpenShift, because there is huge demand for OpenShift, and again they can go for a certification. So immediately after cloud training, they can go for a AWS certification or Azure certification, and after OpenShift, they can go for a RedHat OpenShift certification. And there is huge demand for OpenShift professionals, especially in IBM and companies like that. So the next level is the DevOps tools. We will provide them with some tools, DevOps tools like Jenkins, Terraform, GitHub, then some tools in Python language, so that they will become a DevOps engineer. That is the first level. And if the candidates, if they are experienced or if they are more ambitious, they can go to the second level. Second level means the OpenShift itself, the advanced level they will learn, so that they can become a complete DevOps engineer. And furthermore, if again the student is ambitious, we have a tie-up with AWS India, so that they will be trained, and if they meet the required qualifications to enter into AWS India, we will provide them with some additional training, because we have a specified syllabus. We have designed it along with the AWS India team. And after that, they can directly attend the interviews of AWS India, so that they can, if they perform well, and if they are successful, they can be placed in AWS India. So that is the track we are following. And this, when we follow this track, there is a dual advantage. For every step, they can go for an international certification. And if they want to get placed at that level itself, it is possible.
So what are the career opportunities for these professionals?
Lot of career opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, according to various reports. If you go to Times Jobs or Naukri or Indeed or Monster, you can see lot of opportunities there for cloud engineers, DevOps engineers, and it is increasing day by day. And according to our training track, it is beneficial for the students. Like even after the first step or second step, they can attend interviews so that they are getting placed. And especially, those students who are getting certified, they can look into some jobs or career opportunities in multinational companies and the big companies like Google or Amazon, or we have we have tie-ups with many multinational companies like IBM, RedHat. They can look into a career in those areas.
So what about a fresher or an experienced person? How can they get into this career track? What will be the difference between a fresher and an experienced person who wanted to get into this career track?
Yeah, for a fresher, definitely it's better they will start with the first step. Like they have to learn the enterprise Linux, then automation, like that. And if candidate is experienced, probably he may be working in a system administration job, or some experienced candidate, they may be cloud engineers, so that they can fill that gap. So what all requirement is there to fill the gap to become a DevOps engineer, they need to train that track only. So in that way, they can join in the advanced stage also. That is possible.
Okay, so are the opportunities available only in India, or are there global opportunities for these students?
A lot of opportunities available in all the developing countries like Americas or Europe. So this is actually an opportunity, generated globally because of the global situations and technological growth and all. For example, we are providing training in UK and in US, Canada, for those candidates who are migrating to UK and Canada from India, especially, and probably they may be undergoing a course, a program there, like MSc or MBA or some courses. So they are doing all these cloud courses or DevOps courses through our subsidiary company there in support and internship for getting for a better placement and better career opportunity. So this is global anyway.
So, who are eligible for this course, sir? Is there any eligibility criteria for this course?
There is no particular eligibility criteria. Like we have students who are coming from different backgrounds, like non-IT students are there, MBA students are there. Then we have BCom students. We have recently we have a student who have completed BA English Literature and placed in a company like after studying RHC course and all. So there is no particular criteria. Even we have students with backpapers, students with different backgrounds. So the only criteria is they have to complete 15 years of age. That is the only criteria. But the thing is, they have to have a passion and an attitude towards this technology. That is very important. So there is no specific, minimum requirement in the case of qualification, or any minimum qualification is needed in this case.
So are we offering any scholarships or any kind of support for these students?
Yeah, definitely. IPSR is always providing support to the students, especially those who are financially backward and willing to study these technologies. So we offer scholarships to the deserving students, and otherwise also, during this pandemic time, we are offering all these courses on a subsidized rate. And if any student requests an EMI facility, we have tied up with one of the banks so that they will get EMI facility, and the interest part IPSR will take care of. So we always provide students who are deserving students with support.
Asked to Mr. Sen, why automation is having a huge potential? What are we actually doing in automation?
Okay, so the automation enable business to improve performance by reducing errors and improving quality and speed. and in some cases achieving outcomes that go beyond human capabilities. So I'll take some examples like, okay, just we want to set up a web server in the Linux. Just assume that it takes half an hour, okay, or just for calculation purpose, just consider as a 1 hour. For setting up a web server in a Linux, it takes 1 hour. I mean, manual administration, manual setup of web server. Okay, so in a day, if you want to set up the same web server in 100 servers, it is multiplied by 100, right? When we think about manual administration of web server, right? So 100 times 1, that is 100. Okay, so when you use any automation tools like Ansible, in Ansible we call it as a playbook. So we write the playbook like installation of package, then running services, then configuration of web pages, then finally make sure that the web page is available to the end user. So this is a set of process to be instructed in a playbook. So when you run this playbook, it doesn't matter how many in how many servers it is going to deploy. Even if it is a 50 servers or 100 servers or 500 servers, it doesn't matter the number of servers. It's only matter how much time it is taking to deploy the web server in a single machine. So which means the time taken for setting up a web server in a one machine is equal to the time taken for setting up a web server in 100 machines or 500 machines. Okay, so what you understood from that? It's saving time and also it's saving the human resource. So in business perspective view, it saves cost in a huge difference. Okay.
Okay, so what is this containerization?
Okay, so before going to containerization, I would like to explain what is virtualization. Okay. And we go beyond before virtualization. So before containerization and virtualization, we just deploy application on a particular operating system. So for example, yeah, if we install 3 applications in operating system, application A, B, C. Okay, so one day you installed the 3 applications in an operating system, and later on we found that there is some issue with the application A, and we can solve this issue by upgrading the operating system. Okay, so we upgrade the operating system, and we could resolve the problem with the application A by upgrading the OS. But because of this OS upgradation, the applications are completely dependent on the operating system. So we need a solution which isolates the application so that it is not going to affect OS upgradation or any other application changes to the particular application. So one of the solutions is virtualization. In virtualization, we install the application separately by creating virtual machines. But more resources are utilized there. Just to isolate the application, multiple virtual machines are created. In business perspective view, more costs are involved in that. But when we come to the containerization, same advantage we are getting, that is application isolation. But there is no layer of test operating system. In containerization, we create containers. We call it as application runtimes. So in application runtimes or in a container, for creation of a container, we need a container image. It's actually a bundle of files or packages or binaries or libraries which are required to create an application. So this is completely isolated. We can deploy this application anywhere in the in any cluster or in any infrastructure. So the advantage of containerization is, point number 1, it's cost effective because compared to virtualization, very less resource utilized here. And also compared to virtualization, we can create the containers in seconds compared to virtualization. In virtualization, it takes minutes to create virtual machines. Because of this less storage space or lightweight of this containerization, the containers are created in a second. So yeah, it's very important in IT field, especially in application deployment. When we compare with virtualization or any other technologies, containerization is having a high importance in that IT field.
Okay, so what are containers and Kubernetes? Can you explain that in detail?
Just I told that containerization. So in containerization, we create containers. Okay, so containerization is a technology like virtualization or any other technologies. Containers is a technology In that technology, we create containers. It's nothing but application runtime. For example, web server container. Web server is an application, or database container and another application. So we create containers inside the containerization.
So after cloud, now it is containers, right? What is the difference?
In cloud, there are different services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay, so I can say container also a part of cloud, but when we compare with the cloud instance and containers are lightweight compared to cloud instances. So for application development purpose, the recommended technology is containerization and containers.
Okay, so why OpenShift? Can you explain the importance of RedHat OpenShift?
So I just told what is containerization. So it's a open. There are some open source technologies like Docker, Podman, Cryo, etc. There are some limitations of containerization. I'm not saying that we are going to completely replace containerization. There are some limitations with just containerization, like load balancing and auto scaling or scalability. It's not with the containerization. So we need some container orchestration engine like Kubernetes or Docker. So for containerization, we use Docker, Podman, Cryo, etc. That is containerization, which is just for creating containers. The second one is to add on some features like load balancing and auto scaling. We need a technology called container orchestration. So examples like Kubernetes, which is the most popular one, and also we have Docker Swarm. So OpenShift, so that's a question. So OpenShift is actually a platform as a service from Red Hat. Platform as a service is one of the service from cloud. So I already told that there are different services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So OpenShift is an example of platform as a service. It's a combination of containerization engine, that is Cryo, that container orchestration engine, Kubernetes. So that is a combination of Cryo plus Kubernetes. Then add on features from Red Hat. Especially there is one of my favorite feature called S2I, source to image. So if you are a developer, you just input the source code into this OpenShift S2I tool, and the final result is that your application is running in the cluster. So just give an input, because in previously I told that for creating containers we need images. There are images are created, but with the help of S2I tool, just input the source code into the S2I tool, and the outcome is your application is running there. And the main advantage of OpenShift is, we know that we have AWS, GCP, Azure. They are offering public cloud, but sometimes we need a platform as a service which is built in our premises also. So OpenShift offers this both. Either you can implement OpenShift as platform as a service in your premise. For example, like if you are belongs to a banking sector or insurance sector or defense sectors, where you want to keep your information securely in your premises, geographically in your premises, you need some technology, right? You need some technology. It can depend on AWS or any other public cloud, but that is actually utilizing the service as a utility. Okay, you are utilizing some resources as a utility, but your data is not in your premises; it's in the public data center. But we need we need to keep our confidential data in our own premises. So for that, OpenShift is providing a technology. With that, you can deploy the platform as a service feature in your premises itself. But some companies, like startup companies, they don't want to spend money on implementing their own data center in your premises, because they're not bothered about the confidential data, right? So just the startup companies, so they can consume OpenShift as a online demand, online cluster platform. Especially when I deliver DO 180 or DO 280 courses, I use Red Hat Online or Red Hat OpenShift Online Lab, which is an example of consuming resources from a cloud. But there are some customers, they want to implement their platform as a service in their own premises. That also possible with the OpenShift. And there are also integration with AWS, GCP, and Azure also. So if you want to practice or if you want to learn more about OpenShift, You can just sign up for 30 days or 60 days trial so that you can take resources from GCP or Azure or AWS. You don't have to set up manually. Just log into AWS or Azure or GCP. It's already, OpenShift is already integrated there. So to the summary, so OpenShift is emerging technology. It's a platform as a service. It's one of the cloud services, and it's a combination of containerization, container orchestration, and also some added features from RedHat.
So as Mendus sir and Mr. Sen said, we understood that this field is having a huge career potential, right? So Mrs. Anusha, can you explain the placement support provided by IPSR?
So while talking about our placement support, we initially start by contacting the students individually. So first of all, we used to guide them for resume preparation. We used to call them and we used to support them how to prepare their resume very professionally. So later on, we used to forward their resumes to HR mock and technical mock. So during this mock session, our experts will contact them individually and used to identify the gaps. And they used to support them how to attend the interviews. What are their gaps? They will identify that and they will make them get ready to attending the interviews. So even we are providing the personal mentoring also. So we used to, after a few follow-ups, we used to analyze them and we used to make them to get ready for interviews. We used to share their resumes to companies. So these are the procedures. Initially, we used to start with our candidates.
And what will be the expected salary range of these DevOps professionals?
We have big companies like RedHat, IBM, and we do have, currently we do have tie-up with AWS also. So the salary ranges from 15K to 20K, even more than 1 lakh per month we can expect. So it actually depends on the profiles and the companies actually.
So how many interviews are we arranging for these candidates?
No doubt in that. Until they get placed, we used to share their resumes. So no limits in that.
So after getting placed, are you giving any support to these candidates?
Definitely, few of our students who have experience after they're getting placed, even after 1 year or 2 years, they used to contact us. Even after 15 years, some of our alumni used to contact for better opportunities.
So which all companies are the candidates getting placed? Are they getting placed locally or in MNCs?
Yep, we used to have both national and international companies also. But when comparatively, the certified candidates used to get more priorities in MNCs. That is the only difference we have right now.
So thank you, Mendus, Sen and Anusha. I hope in today's video, with the help of these 3 experts, you understood what is DevOps, the career advancements in DevOps technologies, the eligibility criteria, the career track of a DevOps professional, the salary details, and more. If you have any more doubts related to this, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Thank you and have a great day.
Are you confused about what to choose as the next step towards your career? Contact us and our educational counselors will help you out. If you have any IT related doubts, you may comment below so that we can help you answer those questions in our IPSR Cast series. I will leave the link of the IPSR Cast playlist in the description as well. So see you in the next video of IPSR Cast. Thank you and have a great day.